Let's start again. Member for Wright. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and it does give me great pleasure to be able to stand and make a contribution to the member for Dawson's private member's business that is brought before the chamber. I'm just going to outline what the motion speaks to, and there's about 5 parts to it, Mr. Speaker. And the first one talks about the long-term global predictions of coal usage and how that fits in the baseload power and what the alternative energies look like. Second, it speaks about, in Queensland in particular, about record high electricity prices in January 2017, around 14,000 a megawatt hour, and what effect that has. The third schedule of it speaks about the high cost electricity, in particular in North Queensland, and the effect that it has on business investment and sentiment. The fourth bit is that Australia has an abundance of high quality coal, and then the fifth one, that Australia should utilise its natural advantage. So, Mr. Speaker, it would be right for anyone to sit and think, why would a member in southeast Queensland, with no power stations, no coal mines, have an interest in coal? I'm not on the coast, so I'm not a protector of the barrier reef as such. But, Mr. Speaker, in my electorate of Wright, I have the largest take-up of solar power on my constituents' roofs of any electorate in the country. And I suggest that they are not donning the solar panels on the top of their roof because they are large supporters of the Green movement. Quite the contrary, Mr. Speaker. They have them on their roof because they live very close to the line of trying to make ends meet, and it's a way of trying to bring down household pressures. So I want to go to the point where they talk about this private member's motion talks about North Queensland and how this can affect my electorate. So in the Gold Coast hinterland, as I said, in Queensland we all pay the same electricity per watt. There's a state. It's like a service obligation that if you're in Cairns or you're in the Gold Coast, everyone pays the same kilowatt hour, except if you're a business. And the further you are away from the power stations, the more you pay. So that's the part of this private members bill that I want to speak to. And I'd love to be part of an LNP state team that lobbies this government to look at some of the new Healy power station technology and sit that further into the north. Our government has an agenda to build and develop Northern Australia. And I remember a small community that was built 50 years ago, 70 years ago, but really kicked it. And the little village was called Gladstone. And we dropped a couple of power stations in there, and that place took off. They need power and they need fresh water. The government's already committed to dams in northern Queensland, Northern Australia, and has given that commitment to the state government, is pending their approvals on those. But, Ms. Speaker, if we can take some of the baseload power load off the southeast corner by building some power stations, or at least one, to get the ball rolling in the north, high energy, low emissions are very efficient. We've got the coal up there, we've got the natural resources, we've got a labour force. We have Collinsville, we have Moranbah, we have Tieri, Middlemount, all of those places you could go in and buy the entire street for a tuppence if you're looking for cheap real estate at the moment. Towns and communities that flourished on the back of a resources sector boom, one in 150 years, and I don't think we'll see that again. But coal continues to be the backbone of the global electricity production, and it makes up about 40% of global electricity inputs. The coal industry in Australia is second largest export earner, valued at around 40 million last year, with coal mining contributions to 1.2% of Australia's GDP. Coal is a major driver for economic activity and job creation, with around 44,000 people being employed in the coal sector, and with the mining sector as a whole employing around 228,000. And as I said in my opening comments, if I do have coal miners, they fly in, fly out. And my biggest contributor to GDP in my electorate, Madam Speaker, is agriculture, without a doubt. But if we can build a power station, a Healy coal-effective power station that provides energy security for my electorate into the future, and I commend the motion to the House.